Okay. Well, mine was the hedgehog one. It was a part of my film course that I did at UCA back in when I was a first year in 2015, and I remember we shot on film. We shot on 16mm on double X on a Bolex H16, which is like a clockwork camera, and we were only given 12 minutes of film to make a 4-minute film with. So that gave us about, I think it was something like 2 or 3 takes we could get of each shot. So if we got a good shot, a good take right out the bat, we'd go, all right, next shot, that's probably fine. Yeah, so it was a great film to do a part of my film course because of how many limitations it had to it. Not only were we shooting on film, but we were shooting in black and white. There was no dialogue. So, I think it was a perfect thing for me as a film student to learn how to tell a story. And I just remember it was first year, we're all sat around, we're all a bit shy, we don't know each other, and I just said does anyone have anything weird that we could make a film about, and maybe a location that we have access to, or a weird prop or something that we can write the story around because we're just sat here and you don't really know what to do. And then our producer, I just remember quietly going, I've got a pet hedgehog. And I was just let's run with that, the story will come. And I just wanted to write a little story about about just loneliness, really, and how friendship can help you through it, even if the friendship ends, those memories and that connection that you had can still pull you through and make you a happier person and start your own ice cream van business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the forefront question on everyone's head was where you got the hedgehog.
Great.
I'll get a menu, and I just haven't watched that. Yeah. So then I wasn't high or anything, but I was like, yo, you know, menu. It's kind of this goes me and you. So I thought, oh yeah, what if the menu kind of describes me and you? And I just tweeted that, I think on the Monday, and then I think on the weekend, I think we cast Casey and then we filmed it on the Saturday and then just basically released it the week after. So that was pretty much it. So yeah, we love food, we love the menu, and yeah, it was kind of inspired by the menu / Malcolm and Marie. Yeah, that was pretty much it, based on the tweet.
Yeah, I did hear a lot of comparisons to the menu, I think, in the intermission, which is really
Yeah,
cool.
with the
But
food shots. Yeah.
Malcolm and Marie definitely came to mind when I was watching it. It's really cool.
With my film, I kind of didn't really figure it out until I left the Philippines, because it was basically inspired by everything that happened, really. And the way that I process things is through visual storytelling, and a lot of my work is just me putting a camera down and having a conversation with someone, or just just recording a fleeting moment, because in a few years' time it's going to mean a lot, or I'll point out little things, and it's just nice to remember. And yeah, I came to the Philippines thinking I'm just going to film because I haven't been to this house in 17 years, and it'd be really, really nice to just remember everything, and then I'll figure it out when I'm home. But I wasn't really aware of the events that could happen. So yeah, I was still processing my grief. There was a lot of things that I was processing, and the notes that I was writing, because I constantly write, I like journaling a lot, and that really helped build the foundation of everything that's come to life. But yeah, it was just a really good way to process grief and be
I think that definitely resonated in the room and into a lot of the tissues in the corner. It's really great. Really beautiful way to kind of depict your grief too. Kind of leads me on to the next question that I have, being what would be the biggest challenge that you faced when you were making all of your films? You go in the same order if you like.
Probably working with a hedgehog. Because it wasn't a trained animal. It was just, you know how weird it is to go from that answer to this? but yeah, like, I think, alongside that, just like what I was saying with all the technical limitations, like you saw that flickering and stuff, and the scratches on the film. Like we had as part of the film course, that like there was about, I think, maybe 10 other cameras running around, and we just happened to get the one that hasn't been serviced in a while. So yeah, like all those like technical mistakes were like heartbreaking to see when we got the film back from the labs, and we saw it, and there was like scratch, maybe like a bit of dust that got on the camera and was scratching along the film as it was running through. And you know, like I like with most people here, I'd imagine, like I grew up in the age of like YouTube and phones that can record video. So like having to step back and go to a clockwork camera that can only record up to 30 seconds at a time. You have to reload it every, I think it's every 8 minutes or so, or 4 minutes, something like that. You can only record up to, and having to load it in a dark bag, and not being able to see your footage back as well. You just have to like know. Yeah, and like with Kodak XX, you get 8 stops of dynamic range, so the exposure has to be like perfect. But there was a few shots that were a little under. But yeah, like just the technical thing, and the headshot is hard to look.
Definitely adds to the charm of it though.
And it tasted good too. And it's just like, it just looked good. It tasted so good. And yeah, it was the food, and it being all like last minute, and I think we were writing the script like the night before, right? And
36 hours.
Yeah.
From script to screen.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Casey did an amazing job like learning everything and just getting it to screen, so I thought that too.
You should definitely bring some of that food the next time you do one of these. We can have like a little taste test too.
I thought the donuts were there.
Yeah, there was one day. We're all killing it off at the end of the night.
December, and then it's taken me until yesterday to fully finish it, like correcting, color correcting, everything. But in between those moments, I'd be really sad because I haven't fully can't really heal from grief. But I just knew it was something I really wanted to communicate on screen and just share to people, because I know there are a lot of people out there dealing with grief. Like, there's a lot of films since the pandemic and just everything, like After Sun, Nabarossi, Leonard Will Never Die. There's a lot of themes of grief right now, and I just know that people can resonate with grief and can touch people. So, but it does. Sorry, my brain's like. But yeah, the most challenging thing was dealing with the grief, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely touching to watch because it is such an honest film too. So it must have been like a really vulnerable experience to even share it now, which is really great.
So, and there's not really much you can do to get a hedgehog to look a certain way. You know, I was behind the camera waving a little strawberry around. The final shot when he puts the hedgehog down, and the hedgehog kind of like looks just past camera. I was there like on this muddy floor in the forest, just like waving a strawberry manically around, trying to get this hedgehog to look. That's one. I think that's the biggest one.
I think of me is, I don't know, planning. I think it was just last minute stuff, but we like to get stuff done, and yeah, I think it was like writing the script just maybe a week before the shoot. But yeah, I think it turned out right anyway. So yeah, I think that was planning for sure for me.
I'd say the same thing as well, probably planning, but this was a type of film that is just a visual diary. It doesn't need to make sense, it doesn't need to be planned. Also that camera work, I don't know. But yeah, I'd say better planning. Yeah.
I suppose this is one of those things where you always kind of be sitting there going, what if?
Yeah.
But that's sort of, again, the beauty of it, because you just apply that to the next thing that you do. It's great.
made people laugh, which I think happened. But no, I just wanted to create. 'Cause I feel like a big thing with short films, especially at university, at film school, like everyone tries to make these big grand stories and fit it into a 4-minute film, whereas I just wanted like a very simple, you know, it's the age-old tale of boy meets hedgehog. So I just wanted to tell that, you know, very quickly. Just like man loses his job, man meets hedgehog, man finds this new like spark of life in his relationship with this hedgehog, and then he realizes it's not meant to be, but he leaves that connection being a better person. Yeah.
And as a Filipino, I think I like romance as well. And I think, but this was the one short where I was like, let me stop writing romantic stuff and let me just like get some real relationship. Like, doesn't happen in a happy ending. But then it kind of ended in a happy ending anyway, and they got all cheesy and romantic. And I was like, oh fuck. So maybe the next one I'll try something a bit more less romantic. But hey, if you like, again, Filipinos, you love love.
For me, what I wanted to get was kind of like the connection of nostalgia and being far away from home and just seeing it from the eyes of someone who lives here all their life. Because I was born here and it's been a long time since I've been to the Philippines. And I just kind of wanted it to feel like a memory and for people to be like, oh my gosh, like I remember all these things and like the food and the places. Like I kind of wanted it to be like a collective type of thing. But I also wanted to let people relate to grief and to let people know that everyone is kind of dealing with grief with different things. It's not just death, it could be just like fading memories and distance and processing like how it feels to be far away from home. Just little things like that. Anything to be relatable to anyone's personal experience. Yeah.
I did not word this very well, but how would you define yourself as filmmakers, and what's next for you after this?
All right. I don't know, I think as a filmmaker, I like to do a lot of different things. But when I'm not working with hedgehogs, I like doing like small little personal films, but also documentary and fiction. So I'm just a bit of a, as a filmmaker, I guess I'm just like a mixed bag who goes through phases. And yeah, like I kind of want to be able to just continue being that for the rest of my career, like whatever I feel like doing, just having the freedom to be able to just do it, you know, like yeah.
I think for me, it's just trying to get like all my ideas out there as quick as I can, because I feel like I'm the type of person where if I kind of, the first thing that comes to my head, I just get it out, and like today I'll just get TikTok out of this event like 10 p.m. and then yeah, because otherwise if I leave it to tomorrow I probably would never just sit in my hard drive and SD card. So yeah, kind of just quick brain to screen type of thing. Yeah.
What was the question, sorry?
Which I didn't word very well. How would you define yourself as a filmmaker, and what's next?
Okay. For me, I really like just putting the camera down and just recording fleeting moments, and I think I'm going to still keep doing that. But I really like coming of age stories and personal stories about culture or identity. But yeah, that's how I describe it. But for the future, probably try a fiction type of film. That would be nice.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that with all of us. I mean, to open up to the floor if anyone else had any questions. Oh, we've got one already.
Yes, so this is a question for Gabby. Was there anything that you were kind of watching or that inspired you whilst you were putting everything together? Because I definitely got like, I don't know if you've seen the film The Farewell, but I kind of got that vibe when you were through the film. Yeah.
I never thought that. That's what you said. But for me, I was I was looking at After Sun and Mabarossi. That was kind of like a just putting like Mabarossi was really nice when it came to like pathetic fallacy and like looking at the weather and how it tells to emotions. But I'm also a really big fan of slow cinema, so like that's why it was a really long film. I kind of like when things just sit for longer and you just kind of like pick out whatever you feel resonates with you. And I feel After Sun really does really well with that. Go and watch that film, it's really, really good. But yeah, Leonore Will Never Die is something I watched recently, and that kind of had grief as like a big theme, and it was really, really nice to see their portrayal of grief. So that loosely inspired it a little bit. Thanks for your question.
But what does home mean to you?
I didn't revise. I think for me it's an odd one because I've lived away from family for a little while now, about about 8 years now. So I always find this concept of home, it's a little bit muddled, you know, like where that is. But I kind of feel at home when I'm not home now, if that makes sense. Yeah, like I think home is just where, you know, your people are, you know, like whether that be family or close friends, it's like in those connections. It's not a physical place for me.
I think I saw something on like TikTok recently which resonated with me. It's like, home is where you'll be missed. I was like, yeah, that hits.
For me, I'd say the same as Ray. But really, my Nana and Tata, they feel like home to me. So any little characteristics of my Nana and Tata that I see in other people, that feels like home. But definitely with other people, that's what home is to me.
I just wanted to ask, what is your creative process into making the kind of things that you make today?
I think most ideas, for me at least, I don't know if you guys agree with it, like it just kind of, it's hard when you have to force it. It's like what I was saying earlier, like the Hedgehog film we had to do as part of our university degree, and it's weird when you're all just sat in a room as a group of people you just met and you have to like just come up with something. But I think the process for me changes almost every time depending on the project and what's appropriate with that project. But yeah, like the biggest thing is always the spark. And I'm really cliche, and most of my ideas happen when I'm in the shower. So if I ever, I don't know, if you're ever around my house for some reason and I'm having a shower, it's a long one, I'm probably like planning something while washing my hair. But yes.
Same as Ray, but not in the same shower. Nah, like, I think, yeah, I like bringing it too. Yeah, like what you said about planning, it's hard to like create something when you're really planning it. For me, I like to just film stuff and then build it in post and like create a story when I'm there and like get inspiration. Because I feel like it's the most natural as I can get it. Because if I'm trying to stay to a script, and if the script is bad, then obviously the thing's going to turn out bad, right? So yeah, I kind of just like putting the puzzle pieces together as I'm creating it.
Same as me actually. I like to keep it as real as possible. I figure it out in post. But yeah, I kind of just put the camera there and just let things happen. And then once I'm editing, the story kind of builds as it just is in the editing process. But yeah, like it's pretty messy, I can't lie. But yeah, I'd say that's the process.
But because we're here and we're talking about, like, this event is promoting a lot about like Asian like content creators, I just want to know from each of you what that heritage means to you, and whether, like, because there's so much more inclusion nowadays, what that now means to you, and that how you view your heritage has changed for the past number of years due to the amount of changes that have been happening for us.
I think now it's a really interesting time to be an Asian creative, because there's just so much. Like, we're like almost dominating the Oscars every year now, and white people are eating it up, like Parasite, Beef, Squid Game. But what's been really nice to see is the kind of like rise of like Western Asian stories, because it's, you know, it's different, it's unique, and like it's something that I can relate to. You know, just seeing stories like Beef, and it all, like, you know, it all started with Crazy Rich Asians, and yeah, like I think it's just really important to like further push that in our work. Like obviously I didn't very much with the hedgehog. I don't think the hedgehog was of Asian descent. But yeah, like definitely my mindset has changed in recent years about it. Yeah, I could go on about Asian identity and how, like, you know, being mixed race, biracial is like always been like something in my life that I've struggled with. But I don't know, just seeing the rise in Asian creatives and Asian stories on screen, especially Western Asian stories, it's been really inspiring the past, like, how many years it's been. How many years has it been since Crazy Rich Asians? 4 or 5 years now? 5 years, yeah. And it's like rapidly increasing. But the one thing which I don't like is how little it's moving in the UK in comparison. Like,
Yeah.
I think the British Asian experience is like, there's a lot of similarities with the American, but we got a lot of stories to tell, but we're still like at least like 5 years, 10 years behind America in terms of that. Like we're still like, you know, just that quiet immigrant who's just like,
The whole rise of like Western Asian stories, and for me especially like Filipino stories, and like I think as a community as well. I think with Filipinos, I know we've had conversations with friends around the things like, would a Filipino film event work? Because it's so like cliquey. So it's like you've got like different groups, but like I walked in there, I was like, I seen people that I follow from like different groups. I was like, oh yeah, yo, Mark's here, what's Maynard doing? Stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, and so we actually have a space, and like as Filipinos, I feel like we're ready for that space. As I can see, like next time, I guess there's definitely gonna be a next GBA, Gilbert Association, right? Like we're gonna have the whole next 3-4 different filmmakers here do the same thing, and I would love to see this be a regular thing to see.
Yeah, I agree with what Ray and Paolo said. Like, there's not enough British Asian type of stories coming out, and like American Asians are like way ahead. So it'd be really nice to see more Filipino stories being made, but not just about Philippines, but like just about being here as well. That would be really, really nice. And yeah, it'd be really, really nice to make another event like this happen, because it's so beautiful to bring all these creatives together and, you know, just connect, so that we can start doing these kind of things in the future. So yeah.
Wait, what? Paper, scissors.
This is a question for Gabby. Your film is obviously dedicated to your Nana and Tatay, but I also got this impression that it was a love letter to your mum as well. Was that intentional, and what was the message you were trying to share to your mum?
It wasn't really a strong message for my mom, but I did want to pay like tribute to her, because she's lost her family. Like, she's come all the way, and like she's helping her Tatay, and I really wanted to put that on film, and I just really appreciate her. So yeah, like it wasn't really the strongest like theme of the thing, but I'm really glad that resonated with you. Yeah.
So
So why do you think Asian creative in the UK are moving slower than Asian creatives in the US? Why there is a difference?
I think it's purely, well, I think a big factor is just there's less of us here. Yeah, there's just less of us. There's also less money, and I think culturally, within like the film and TV industry here, it's I mean, like, it's similar in Hollywood, but here it's very much like privileged white ran. You know, look at the BBC, and you can go on the BBC, look at any of the directors and producers working, look them up on IMDb, and you'll see like some white rich boy. And it's just been like that for forever, and it's starting to change slowly, but it's still like, you know, and the biggest stuff that come out of the UK that does well internationally is stuff like Downton Abbey, which of course is going to be like white boy Tory run. And yeah, I just don't. And I think culturally as well, like you see it in like food, for example. Like Americans they're a lot more open to trying new things, to seeing new things. Whereas here, like, it's hard to get a white person to try anything more than Nando's or Wagama's. It's difficult. It's difficult to get the British majority on board with something new and different. And yeah, I think that's just something we're just going to have to push and force through. You know, tell them that there's a lot more than just katsu curry.
Yeah, for me, like what Ray said, but I think it's also on us. I think we just need to keep creating, man, like, and supporting each other. And like, even if a lot of people are creating, clearly we're not getting out there, we're not supporting each other. Like, I think, yeah, just keep on creating. Like, the more stuff we have out there, the more likely something's gonna hit, and then like potentially resonate with like people outside of our culture. So yeah, just keep on creating.
Yeah, I'd say the same as Paolo and Ray. I feel like we're not fully connected enough, and we don't know where these creatives are, and like we don't have enough events like this to connect everybody and unite. But that's changing now, and I'm really glad that we're moving forward.
The edit. At any point in that edit, did you think it's such a personal story that you want to keep for yourself rather than share it? And if you did have those doubts, what made you see through sharing it with a larger audience, I guess?
Yeah, like I thought it was super personal. Looking at it, I thought, oh, this is so sensitive, and like, is it even right to show something like this because of like what happened? But showing like Paolo and like Tam, it resonated with a lot of people because there are people out there dealing with grief, and yeah, I just really wanted it to make people feel less alone about that type of theme. And it's not just about grief, there's also little things that resonate, like Philippines and like identity and connecting with fading memories and photos. So there's always little things that people can resonate with. But I'm really glad that I could share it in a safe space. That's what really like helped me want to show it. So yeah.
We've got a space at the Fringe, like Asian creatives. The Fringe, like the 1 month creative film festival, yeah. Is it in Scotland?
Yeah, in Edinburgh. Yeah. Yeah, probably, yeah. Like, I think the Fringe is known for being, I mean, it's in the name that they pretty much allow anyone to contribute. I don't know too much about it. I've never been to the Fringe.
It's mostly theatre.
Yeah, it's big theatre. Yeah. It's comedy, right? A lot of comedy.
Comedy shows, stand-up.
Yeah.
Mostly theatre, live performances.
More of like a general feedback. Like, I could relate to all of your stories in like really distinct ways, and I really like your choices of framing in a lot of your work. Love the music behind it. if you ever need like any music, tomorrow kind of that's another question. And yes, that was sick. You guys killed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I really like that you use photos from your childhood and that, because, like you said, it resonates with a lot of people. And when I was watching it, like, well, even from the beginning, I had to hold back tears because I was like, that's like me when I used to like flip through my grandparents' photo books. So it was really nice. It was a nice memory. Thank you.
The question I have is, how are you coping and
like, I've been so gassed, like, I've just been sharing, like, every comment, like, but I think it's crazy because I've just been doing the exact same thing that I've been doing before, like, I blew up, so I think it's just, it can show that, like, anyone here could just carry on what we're doing, like, just keep releasing the stuff that you're doing, and you just blow up, like, I mean, like, Maynard, for example, just started to blow up as well. Like, we're in this group where it's just, we're not doing anything different, we're just posting our stuff online and like.
And then chat shit in the back.
Yeah. But yeah. COVID, okay. I think.
Not that shit. So you're doing that. Don't quote me on that. That's not some great philosophical what you live in life. But yeah, great.
As a creative, like, I'd never show my parents or family my work. Do you guys show your family and relatives of your work, and what do you think?
Well, my mum wanted me to be a doctor. I've shown my mum some of my stuff. She doesn't really care. The only time that she's ever shown like any, like she shared a video that I made on Facebook once, which was big. But it was because it was a video about Jollibee opening in London. And it went viral in the Philippines, and she shared that. But that's the only acknowledgement I've ever had from her about my work. She doesn't even know like what my job title is. She just tells people I work in the media.
Yeah, for me, like, I mean, my mum sees most of my stuff like Facebook. She's never like, it's just like, that's whatever, it's content. But I think, I don't know if you'll agree, it's like once they see like that money come in for that, that's when they're like, okay, so it wasn't until the recent where she saw the receipt for like the Lipton ad I made. And this was the first ever content she shared on like her Facebook. I came home the next day and there was like Lipton iced tea in my fridge that she brought. So now she's starting to support, I think, because they want the best interest for us, right? And so, unfortunately, money is sometimes the best interest that they look for, because sometimes that's how we've got to survive, we've got to live in this world, right? But yeah, so for me, that's, now that she sees that, okay, maybe you can make some money off it then. Now she's like my biggest fan.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Like, for me, I'm quite shy with showing my parents my stuff, just because of like money type of thing. But I show her some of my stuff, and she's kind of like, "What is this? I don't get it." So she doesn't really care unless it's like making money. But I care more about what I think and what like the people I want it to be for think. But yeah, when in the future, I'm sure she will show like a lot more support. But you know, she still supports me. Like, so yeah.
Has she seen this documentary, your mom?
She's gonna watch it tomorrow. She's gonna come today, but I know she'll be in the background being like, "What is this? Blah blah blah. Oh my god, this photo of me!" Like, yeah.
Part or favourite shot of each of your respective films?
I really like the one where I got a fully grown man and a hedgehog to go in the bath. It's a really nice bath as well. We felt like literally, again, it was our producer who said that she house sits for this rich lady in the area by our uni, and she's house sitting at the moment, and she could just let us in and film one shot. And I just kept going like, can you ask her? Like, can you ask her first if it's alright? And she's like, yeah, it's probably fine. So we just like snuck in and got like 3 shots in their bathtub. Their beautiful bath.
I think for me it was like that donut shot, because I think from like a lot of my films I start off visually, like the concept, but because it was so last minute I didn't get any of like the visual ones that I wanted. But apart from that one shot, which I did get, like tick the box, so that was mine.
For me, mine's more of a moment rather than a shot, but my cousin, well, when I saw him for the first time, because I was really craving like connection and quality time with my cousins, and we never really like connected as long as we could. And seeing Jas for this first time was just amazing. Like, it was just so nice to feel I could relate with someone creatively, because I've been really craving that. But yeah, that's my favorite moment. Yeah.
Go through like times of like creative block. Like, do you guys have your own just like ways of like getting through that and like trying to like unblock yourselves?
I like to expose myself to as many pieces of very careful. I like to watch a lot of films, just like any like any kinds of films, maybe like stuff that like aren't shown in mainstream cinemas. And I don't know if this is a common thing, but like creative block is something like I've just not had in years. Like, but when I was a student and before that, like I used to get it all the time. Like I was almost like forcing myself to like come up with ideas. Whereas now it's like I always have like a notebook on me, and I have like about a million ideas that I'll never like progress from like maybe that one like note I write down. But yeah, I definitely think like one of the big reasons of that is like I watch a lot of shit constantly. Constantly inspired.
Yeah, same with Ray. I think I just expose myself to like just more art, more creativity. Then yeah, if I'm inspired by it, I'm inspired by it, and I end up creating content on the fact that I'm having a creative block, and that kind of gets me off it, and then yeah, keeps it rolling till the next one.
For me, like it's just so surprising to hear that you don't have creative block, because I'm in this period where I have loads of creative block. But maybe that's because of where I am in like my age, like I'm 22, and like also I just graduated, and I'm not like in a film like industry like type of world right now. So for me, I kind of step away from film and just kind of like pursue different creative hobbies like dance or art or just like writing, just like appreciating other people in the creative world as well. That really helps. But just taking a breather. Because eventually you're gonna have a spark again, like that spark will always happen. So yeah, that's how I kind of deal with it. It takes time. But yeah.
I've got a question. In your film you mentioned that you felt the language barrier when you were trying to communicate with your relatives. That really resonated with me, especially when I took a gap year there. Like, there were a lot of things I wish I could find out or like, ask them. But the main thing I wanted to ask you is, when you think back about that issue with communication, is there anything in particular that you wish that you were able to discuss or talk about with your relatives?
Just like how they are and like what they're up to and like what they've been doing since like I've last seen them, because I haven't seen my tata in like 3 years, and it'd be really nice to speak to him, because if you guys didn't know, his speech was kind of like getting harder to understand as he grew older comparing to his older videos, and he wasn't really speaking English as much, it was Tagalog, so it was really difficult. But yeah, I would really like to speak to my cousins and my elderly like relatives more about like what they're up to in life and how they're feeling, things like that.
And like in the final process, when do you say it's done? And you when's that moment for you guys? And what's the criteria?
It's a bit of a loaded question. I don't know. I feel like it feels kind of clear when it's done, or you know when you're towards the end. So I think often in editing, Like you know the ending is near, and then you see the steps you need to do to finish it, and then then you know when the gets for. But you know, like that's rarely ever like the final like export. You know, like there's always going to be like that final.mp4. But yeah, like I think when it feels done to you, that's when it's done. And if you don't feel that, then there's still some work to do.
Yeah, same for me. Like, but then I think I got to a point where I know, like, even if I think it's done, I would never feel like it is anyway. So sometimes I like to keep myself accountable. Where I just tweet like, "Hey, new video Sunday," and I have to get up Sunday, otherwise I look like a dickhead that just promise you. So, yeah, I just like to kind of give myself this kind of deadline, just for me. So.
Yeah, I feel like as a creative, you could just go on and on and on and add so many things to your story. But yeah, deadlines really help with like putting it up. But same with what Ray said, you kind of like can tell when your story's kind of like gone full circle. But yeah, like after looking back at this film, I'm like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. So you know, the project's never really finished. You know.
It's always gonna happen.
Yeah.
Any point was there a particular clip that you guys started with? It's like, this is the one I'm gonna put down in the timeline first, and then you start seeing your entire project from start to end. Is there like a point in the movie or each of your movies that was like, this is it, like this? I can see it from the start to the beginning, or from the start to the end.
I think I don't think I work like that too often. Like with this one specifically, because of the way we were shooting it, like everything had to be planned to a T. So we literally storyboarded. We shot that storyboard digitally with a plush hedgehog.
Yeah.
And then we edited it together.
Yeah.
Just to see if it worked, what didn't work, and changed it when we actually shot it on film. So yeah, like it was literally just a case of like seeing the physical film, because we edited on an old Steenbeck editor, like where we actually had to splice the film and tape it together.
Yeah.
Like on every cut you can see a frame of like just sellotape, and that sellotape done by half me and half the editor. But yeah, like for that one it was literally just seeing what is there, and then like where that goes, and then yeah, I don't think we
you didn't have the luxury to like drag something in first.
Actually, it is a luxury physically being able to grab it and put it there. You know, there's no crashing, there's no like lagging. Yeah, like as long as you keep everything organized, like being able to grab something and like you know, like having bins. You know, bins in your software. It's because they're physical bins. And footage is called footage because it's measured in feet.
Yeah, I think for me it was I think it was when Casey was screaming her lungs off to learn. I think that's the first one I put in, and I created it. And I was like, just to gas me up, I was like, okay, I need to get to that point, and then yeah, that was my clip.
Pinnacle.
The peak.
The peak.
No, literally the peak. The
yeah,
audio peak.
For me, mine's not a clip, it's more like an editing choice. It started off as like a silent film where it was just like writing, but then like my partner was like, oh, it should be voiceover, like it would be really nice for it to be like a diary, like where you could hear everything. And like putting all the voiceovers in clip, that was really, really nice, where I was like, yeah, this is how I should start my film and how everything should go to place. So the voiceover mainly really, really helped me a lot.
I really like how you did the voiceover towards the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave that moment to like breathe for us to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What best advice could you give to us as creatives and filmmakers who are just starting or learning or pursuing a career? And also, do you have a favorite film?
I would say just like one thing that I always think about that really inspires me now is just how accessible film is now. It was only like, 15, 20 years ago where it wasn't easy to just like go out there and make a film at all. Like you had to have a certain amount of technical knowledge to be able to make something. Whereas now, like, you can plan a whole film, shoot your film, edit your film, and then distribute your film all on an iPhone now. Not to say that like all films should be made that way, but like the fact that you can, like, there's no excuses now to go out and tell stories. You know, like I see it a lot with young people now. Like it was funny because when I started YouTube, the only reason why I started was because a YouTuber I used to watch, Kev Jumba. I don't know if anyone.
Yes.
He put in. I think he did like a Q&A video, and someone asked him like, "What camera do you use? What editing software do you use?" And he literally was like, "I use a webcam and a cracked version of Sony Vegas." And then I cracked Sony Vegas at the age of 12. And then I remember I took my £10 birthday money to Tesco, and I got a Tesco value webcam. And then I just started there. Literally just because I could. But now it's like, it's easier. You know, like, just use your iPhone.
I think five-star gives, I think, just execute your ideas no matter how cringe you think it'll be. Like, I saw someone online said you kind of have to go over like that cringe mountain to kind of reach the top. And like amount of ideas where I was like, oh, man, this is dumb. Like, I just look stupid. But I think if you just do it, it's going to resonate with someone, and it's going to get more video, more experience for yourself to like film stuff. So I think, yeah, just do it no matter what you think. Don't worry too much about what other people's going to think of it. It's going to be good in the end, because at least you've got it out there.
Oh, the favourite Tagalog film bit.
Oh shit.
Kita Kita.
Mine is any James and Nadine film.
Right now mine is Leonor Will Never Die. Oh, and like advice, again, like just keep posting and just keep getting your ideas out. Like even if it's weird, like just do it. At least you tried it, and that's what matters. Because everyone's trying to fit a style, but what about you? Like, what's your style? Try and figure that out yourself, and like go through that process of, yeah, I love this, or no, I don't like this. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Right, so that is the end of the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Gabby. This event, amazing. Like, I think it's the first like Filipino film event that I'm aware of. Like, this needs to be a reoccurring thing. If there's anything I can do to help make sure there are more of these, I'm so on board. This is amazing. Beautiful. A beautiful film.
No, but this is an amazing event, especially for like Filipino creatives. Hardly do we have like the space. I'm a filmmaker myself, and to see like films like this really inspires me to make more films, especially towards Filipino and targeted towards Filipino audiences.
Gabby, thank you for the film. I resonated so much with it. So my lolo was in the hospital as well not long ago, 2 months ago, and the whole footage kind of just reminded me of home, and yeah, it made me emotional, it made me cry, it reminded me of my lolo. So yeah, I completely kind of like understood where the film was coming from, the emotions and stuff, the grief as well, and yeah, so thank you, and yeah, hopefully I'll see more of your films in the future.
Are you ready? Yo, Gabby, big ups to organising this event, man. I'm really excited to see your film, and yeah, big ups to just like getting everyone together and just bringing together the community and everything. Yeah, I'm really excited to see your film.
So we're here today at Constrom to see Gabby's film called Cinephiles. I'm very excited. Gabby, I'm really proud of you.